Hello! Today I'm pretending to be in Scotland. Wolves used to live here, but not anymore. Where did they go, and can they ever return? Let's find out. Cue titles. In Britain, like elsewhere, human persecution caused the wolf's decline. The reasons, also like elsewhere, were similar. Conflict resulting from wolves eating livestock and deer. Scottish wolves hung on the longest, until maybe the 18th century, but time and bullets were not on their side. Excluding zoos, Britain has been wolf-free for around 200 years. But should it remain that way? Or should we bring back the wolf? Why? Always a good starting question. Well, as we discussed in a previous episode, there are too many deer suppressing forest regeneration.
Wolves will help solve this problem, both by reducing deer numbers and restoring the landscape of fear, triggering a trophic cascade and increasing biodiversity. But there are other reasons. Money. In the United States, wolf-related tourism contributes millions of dollars to the economy every year. But maybe money's not your thing, so how about a moral argument? Humans caused the wolf's extinction in Britain, therefore we have an obligation to put things right.
A more structured version of this argument appears in the EU Habitats Directive, which obliges us to investigate the possibility of bringing back creatures that humans caused to disappear. Investigate the possibility, mind you, but not necessarily bring them back.
Finally, let's show a tiger picture for no apparent reason. Everyone wants to save tigers, right? But how can we lecture other countries about conserving big predators when we shot all ours and don't want them back, thank you very much? Restoring wolves will give us credibility on the world stage. Well, the stage of conservation at least.
So that's why you might want to bring back wolves. But could you? And should you? Firstly, is there enough room? Well, it's estimated that you'd need a population of around about 200 wolves for them to persist. That's the minimum viable population. The number needed to avoid inbreeding and maintain genetic diversity. Because wolves live at such a low density, you need a large area to fit them all in, round about 10,000 square kilometres. The Scottish Highlands, with its relatively low population density of people, might just do the trick.
But do the people of Scotland actually want to live alongside wolves? Attitudes vary depending on where people live. Those in urban areas are generally in favour, while those in rural areas, and more likely to be affected, have more negative views. But are wolves a threat? A large study looked at historic data and concluded that wolf attacks greatly decreased during the 20th century and were generally uncommon. However, attacks did occur, and the study highlighted ways to minimise their recurrence. Rabid wolves were the main cause of attacks. Rabies no longer occurs in the UK, and effective disease screening of reintroduced animals would be necessary.
Wolves that have lost their fear of humans were another source of attacks, and the study recommended they should be removed from the population as a preventative measure. A bigger stumbling block to the reintroduction of wolves is the perceived risk of attack rather than the actual risk. This is largely due to centuries of ingrained fear of the big bad wolf. There's no easy solution. Education and outreach is key, and any reintroduction project that does not have the support of local people is doomed to fail.
Some local people who might object are those whose livelihoods will be directly affected, such as farmers and managers of deer estates. The easiest group to work with might be the deer estates, some of which need to carry out culls of deer to decrease their population. One study predicted that wolves would reduce the need to carry out these expensive culls and so increase profits from deer stalking. However, livestock farmers potentially have the most to lose. Overall, the number of livestock taken might be low, but the effect can sometimes be locally devastating, with some so-called mass kills ranging from 21 to 113 sheep killed in a single attack. In the US, farmers were compensated for livestock killed by wolves, often from a private pot of money, such as that from the charity Defenders of Wildlife. If the wolf returns to Scotland, non-governmental organisations might have to foot the bill.
So, in summary, it's a complex issue. There are problems, possible solutions, and a lot of unknowns. Some researchers think we should do a trial run, perhaps introducing wolves onto an island or into a fenced enclosure, but both of those ideas have their own problems. So where does that leave the wolf? Well, personally, I'd love for wolves to return, but I just don't see a reintroduction working out well. The obstacles of ingrained fear and getting the support of people whose livelihoods are going to be affected just seem too difficult to overcome anytime soon. But other opinions are available. Good idea, bad idea. What do you think? Let us know. One final thought. If we don't reintroduce the wolf, there's another creature we could bring back. One that's safe, free of negative PR, and could potentially solve some of our ecological problems. That creature is the lynx, and maybe we'll meet it one day soon. Until then,